we're back with episode 2 of Principal's Corner, Smith's Police, and today we're just going to be bringing you guys around the school, showing you how the school runs and what the inside really looks like. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So I thought it would be important for our viewers at home to see how we are safely operating in the library, where we have arrows and plexiglass and sanitizer and masks, and students are working in their own individual space. Just another example of all the steps that we've taken to ensure that everybody is safe and that we are staying open as long as possible.
Awesome.
Yeah, all right. This is one of our only hallways that's two-way. As you can see, there's a dividing line. Many of our other hallways are one-way traffic patterns, which we can show you, but one of the reasons why we had to make this a two-way hallway is that you'd have to go outside of the building to come back in if it was a one-way hall, and I think our students have been doing a great job. So why don't we take a walk down the math wing. I think this is our first one-way hallway. You can see the traffic patterns here. I think it might be a good idea to show our viewers from home what a classroom looks like during instruction. Our active school store.
Say hi, Shane.
Let's quietly take a peek into pre-calculus, pre-AP calculus. Come on in here. So that was a classic example of our classrooms that are set at 6 feet apart. Instruction was at the board, and I don't know if you caught the little camera that was pointed on the area of instruction, which is displaying that to our students that are home today. So that classroom that had about 15 students in it, and I think there's probably maybe 22 to 24 on our roster, so the rest are home.
Okay.
And tomorrow it'll be a different group of kids.
How do teachers react when, say, a student doesn't show up on their designated day and they decide to stay home? How does that affect the classroom space and the number of kids in the room?
So I think that this is probably a good place to have a conversation to both our students and our families, but this is starting to present a problem. And the problem is really that our teachers, they've really learned how to change their delivery of instruction, and their planning is different, and they're planning for a certain number of kids in the classroom every single day. Here's an example to our families that are home. We are in the middle of second block, so there's lunch going on, there's teaching going on, and if I were to stop talking, you could probably hear a pin drop. But this is what our school looks like. It's very orderly, it's very quiet. People are by and large doing what they are supposed to be doing, which is why we are still here.
So how does lunch get distributed throughout the school?
Okay, so because we are eating in the classrooms and we are not serving from the cafeteria, our awesome cafeteria staff, they are preparing the meals in our cafeteria, they're packaging them, and then we're serving them actually from this team room right over here. So I'll show you. So you can see some of our students are coming to grab their lunches, which they will take back to their classrooms, and we can show you that in just a second.
So kids can actually just come up and grab what they want?
Yep.
Is that how that works?
We have hot options every day, right? Yes. We have cold options. We have vegetarian options. Yeah. We have vegan options, yeah. Correct? And gluten-free. Yeah. I believe this is heat. Yes, it is. This is heat. This is warm. Warm lunches. Cold? Cold lunches. And our awesome staff.
Hi guys. That's cheeseburger.
Right ahead, sir. As you can see, we have prepared the auditorium with arrows for traffic patterns, and we have rows that are blocked off, so it's every other row. And each seat is set at 6 feet apart. So you can sit where there is an X, and then the next X is 6 feet apart. So if we are able to ever bring people together, we are prepared to do so.
So how is seminar going? I know that was a big.
Yeah, so
Topic.
distance learning seminar. So you may or may not have seen a lot of the communication that's been sent out from a district-based perspective, but we are starting to really take an active look at equity and access. Meaning, does everybody have, an opportunity to achieve the same things and access the same things? And if we don't, why is that? So our distance learning seminar is essentially starting those conversations with our students from an asynchronous platform, because we can't meet in the auditorium. We can't collectively bring people together. So we've essentially created this course that is starting to look at some of those equity and access issues that are in our community as well as across our globe. So that's it's kind of like a beginning class.
Awesome. So the lunches that we're getting, are they being like packaged and made in here?
Yeah,
And then-
so why don't we take a peek over here? So as you can see, the cafeteria is not being used this year, but it is being used to prepare our food, and it is dark in there right now, but our staff does prepare the food here, and this is where they package it essentially. And don't forget, we are still providing meals for students that are 100% remote. So students can pick those meals up in the main office, and I can show you that.
yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah. So,
That's a cool thing.
yeah. So, what you see here is a result of the fact that we are not allowing access to the locker rooms. So, all this stuff belongs to our student athletes who store their stuff here, whether it's golf or field hockey. This essentially has become the locker room. And as you know, Maggie can certainly tell you, athletes come to school dressed for practice or for their games because we don't have access to an indoor locker room. The same thing goes for our gym. You can see that all of our physical education classes are outside, which is why our gym currently has its lights off.
So
Right
no
ahead.
one has access to the gym.
Nobody has access to it. Here it is. So a lot of that stuff is sporting equipment that's used after school, but as you can see, the bleachers are closed up, and I think we are hoping and praying for some version of winter sports, and I think that at some point we will pack these gyms again and resume to normal, but right now this is unfortunately what it is.
Yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to point out to everybody is we are starting to, so all of our club advisors have been set for this year. So there's actually going to be some communication going out to our students, and I would definitely encourage people to participate in as many clubs as possible. And I say that because there's not a lot of opportunity for us to be together in a social manner other than our 3 classes a day. So especially for students that are new to the building, I would strongly encourage that they start to take advantage of that. My hope is that our club advisors start to meet face-to-face in the mornings because we have that chunk of time. So I think that might bring some normalcy back.
You said the custodians are thoroughly cleaning and
Yep.
making sure everything is
Yep.
clean
So
and
they
good.
have a routine, and actually, if we ever get an opportunity to tape in the afternoon, you'll see that they wear these backpack. It's like a red backpack, and it's a sprayer. And what they do is they mist every single space of this
Wow.
building, the handles, everything, all the
Wow.
classrooms, every single night.
Wow.
So it's a disinfectant, and it dries on surface and kills anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
So that's something
It's
that
really
we
good.
actually, the district purchased last spring, so we kind of got ahead of it
Got ahead of
when
that.
we knew that there was going to be a closure coming. So it's really cool. All right. So one of the sad losses that we've had this year is band and chorus, but we have been able to get select choir to operate in a restrictive manner, yet they are running. So Miss Richard is our fabulous instructional and vocal music teacher. And do you want to talk a little bit about what select choir has looked like and maybe some of the exciting things that are coming maybe in January? Go ahead.
Select choir, you're actually looking at the setup that they use. There's one day that one of the 14 students is remote. And then basically there's remaining 13. I get half on one of the other days. The day one, I have half of those guys. At day 5, I have the other half that was remote on the day one. We worked together to figure out how to learn all the music effectively. They have been instrumental in figuring out how to acquire this. We've been discovering that humming does nothing for you remembering the words or learning the words. It's kind of funny. Like, no, I know all the notes, I just don't know any of the words. We probably spend half of the class period singing outside, measured, masked in the works. That's been another challenge, and one of the things that we realized last week was how do we be expressive with a mask on, like with our singing. So that was pretty cool. We had a mom, I'm gonna show you, this is exciting, and also the feeling of like you're going to inhale your mask every time you take a breath. But we had a mom of a graduate make us special singer's masks, which are pretty cool. They've got a lot of structure in them, so they're away from your face, which is super awesome. And they were all excited when I handed them out, and they put them on. They're like, "Oh, I can breathe!" And when we sang with them outside, with the real words outside in full voices, oh my God, I haven't heard them sing that loud yet, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
They're doing, instead of like our assessments that we do live and in class, they're doing virtual videos. So there'll be the virtual choir videos those are in process now.
That's awesome.
And I was sharing with the group the excitement of the fact that the state just released that they are allowing brass instruments to begin to meet at 10 feet apart, indoors or outdoors.
Yeah,
And that-
brass and woodwinds
Yep.
both.
So
we're trying to put that into
we're
play,
working on a plan to bring music back
which is
at some
awesome.
point, which I think we all need.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And the
it's-
band people, as I saw them in the hallway, I was like, I'll look out for an email in the
Yeah.
next 2 weeks. My God, finally the
awesome.
state had said yes to band.
Yep.
And they were,
So we're
like,
figuring
even
it out.
under their masks, you could tell how excited they were.
Yeah.
As for me and Amanda.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you
Oh my
so
God,
much.
Thank you, you guys.
I think one of the things that is hard for me is there's not a lot of opportunity for kids to socialize outside of the classrooms.
Yeah.
So, our kids come to school and it's business. It's their 3 classes and you either go home or if you're an athlete, you go outside. So, JOSM always provided that opportunity for us where we were collectively together as a community, and that doesn't exist right now. And that's hard for me. And I think I worry most about our 8th graders that are new. And it's going to be, I think, challenging to really get to know them, given the way that we have to operate. So this is why I think, if there are opportunities like clubs and Spirit Week and things for us to do that brings us together, I think it's really important that people take advantage of them. I know you guys because we've been together for 5 years, so I recognize you by your eyes, but
Yeah.
for those kids that I'm meeting for the first time, it's really going to be a challenge. So I miss the team rooms being full, and kids just socializing and using school. as an extension of their homes, and that's not, you know, we're not really operating like that right now, and that's a challenge. Yeah.
And how does guidance work? Is it available 24/7 or?
Yeah, so, you know, I would say that guidance is another one of those areas I think that has guidance rocks. Guidance is another one of those areas that has taken a social hit.
Yep.
Because I think it's a safe place for everybody. I think it's a place where kids go to converge. I think if we go down there right now, you're going to see that it's empty, and that's because it's a small space, and we can't have, you know, students in there the way we used to, right? So if students want to meet with their counselor, it has to be by appointment only. They can't just show up, which
Okay.
that's something that we're used to.
Yeah.
Right, you're used to just going down there in the middle of class or between passing, and it's just not as free, I think, as it once was. I think we're going to get back to that. It's just the when, you know. I think the more we can continue to be in the building and limit community spread, we are going to be able to potentially have the opportunity to gradually reduce some of the major restrictions. And if that means as simple as clubs are meeting in the morning, there's winter sports, there is there's an instrumental ensemble, anything like that. Do I think that we're going to see Jossam this year? Probably not. I think that's probably too much.
Okay.
But I think that we can find ways to gradually return to normal.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms.
You
Police.
got it. All right.